We're good. Okay, welcome everybody. I'm Tom Smith, Chairman of the Board of Equalization Review for Union County, and this is the rest of the board. We have been appointed by the county commissioners to hear any and all taxpayers with requests to concerns, complaints regarding evaluations of their property for tax purposes. Property owners appearing before the Board of Equalization Review have the right to a fair and equitable hearing. The Board of Equalization Review has been charged with ensuring that proper legal principles have been applied in evaluation dispute for tax purpose. The format of this hearing is the clerk will call the case, locate the property, or explain the situation. The appellant presents his or her case. The assessor's office offers a defense. Both parties will be given opportunity to rebut, conclude. All questions from either party should be directed to me, the chairman. The board will rule on the case or table it and inform the taxpayer when it will be reopened. The taxpayer will be notified in writing of the board's decision. By statute, the burden of proof is on the taxpayer to demonstrate that the assessment is erroneous. Please silence your cell phones. Make sure I even do it. And with that, we're ready. What we got first?
We got hearing number 1, account number 2783804, Mr. Stephen Holtz.
Good morning.
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 Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving.
Yes, sir.
I thought there was going to be more people than just me here, so I'm sorry to have this board just for me. Actually, both facilities, I guess hearings 1 and 2 have the same issue. For those of you who are not familiar with Berry Plastics and the 2 facilities in the community here, Monroe facility, the first one, was founded in 1997. They produce plastic containers that you see at your, and it's my only prop. I didn't bring 8 of them, but it's the Parmesan cheese that I've stayed at the Holiday Inn at the Monroe, and this is actually what they produce all over the country, but they produce it here in your city. And you can see when you look at the bottom of them, they have Berry Plastics. Berry Plastics on the bottom and the lid. You guys can keep that. It's fresh. It's never been opened. But that's what they produce of one of the containers, and there's 3 different varieties that they produce. They also produce PPG paint measuring containers. So they put the containers and they put the measuring cups and sizes on all the containers. There's about 188 employees in the Monroe facility. In the Matthews facility, I did not bring a prop, but if you've ever driven out in the country and you see the big bales of hay that's got the white silage on top of it that covers it up, or cotton, they produce that at that facility. And if you've ever bought a new mattress, it comes in a bag. They produce that also in that facility. That has 187 employees in the Matthews facility. The total wages between those 2 facilities in 2023 for those employees was $23,270,000 and $924. We're not here to fight the audit. We're in agreements with the audit. We're asking for a one-time waiver of the late listing penalties. We've never been late in filing our taxes. We've never been late in paying our taxes. And there was discovery, and I think in the tune of almost $347,000. And the late listing penalty is $105,000, and we're asking for a one-time waiver. Nothing was done. These discoveries were not done intentionally, erroneously. We were following a prior audit that was done 7 years ago. The person that conducted that audit for TMA wasn't the same tax administrator, wasn't the same person on our end that helped with the audit. None of them are there anymore. So we thought we were doing the way they did it. Well, I think that was just a deal or a concession that was made between that auditor, that person from Berry, and that tax administrator. We didn't know that. So it wasn't, nothing we did was intentional through this process. And I think we've given TMA everything on a timely fashion. I think Mr. Crutchfield verify that, that nothing was done on purpose. And so we're just asking for a one-time waiver. We've made changes in our system now to make sure that going forward, nothing like this will happen again. But you can see over the years from that time going forward, it was always the same, it was the same error over and over, but we were following what had been done in the past from a prior audit. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Gentlemen, y'all have any questions?
I do.
Yes, sir.
When did the change take place with the personnel? I mean,
2017,
okay.
somewhere around there.
And then, was it multiple pieces of new equipment that were brought on, or was it one big piece, or?
No, it's not a piece of equipment. It's, I call it like a multi-roof syndrome. So like if you have a roof on your house,
Right.
right? And instead of taking that roof off, at least my dad's always told me this, it's cheaper just to put a new roof on top of the old roof.
Oh, okay,
And it's no different in a machinery and equipment. So we have motors and different parts of these huge presses, right?
okay,
And what they were doing is if a motor went out, if they had to repair it, they would, it's expensive, and so they would capitalize it. Well, they didn't pay tax on it because we already paid tax on the original motor. And so what happens is you start repairing these motors and start putting new pieces on them. This one piece of machinery might have 5 motors put on it. Well, under repairs and maintenance, that was all picked up. And so that was why, in the prior audit, it wasn't. They had agreed to waive that part of it. So it was more of a repairs and replacement, not so much a new piece. It wasn't like we had a new piece of equipment that we didn't report.
right, okay.
It was a repairs and maintenance account or a supplies account that you see over and over and over again. And it's not huge dollars, but when you have all these presses and all these parts and machinery that are expensive to make these machines run, it adds up, as you can tell, adds up pretty quickly. But it wasn't done where we were leaving off a piece of equipment on, nothing like that was done.
Okay, thank you.
No question.
You have anything, Jimmy?
No, not that I can think of.
So to clarify on my end,
Yes, sir.
you're running from the base from the 2017 audit and then adding new equipment as it came on or off?
Yes, sir. The
But
repairs.
this
and maintenance.
issue you're saying comes from repair and maintenance of major machinery?
Correct.
There's no additional major machinery that was added?
Not discovered on the, we've added a lot of.
Yeah,
new-
but not in the discovery part.
Right, we've added a lot of new machinery
Yeah.
equipment over those last
Yeah, all of that's
7
been in
years.
order.
Yes, we've picked all that up.
So this, in y'all's mind, is, and of course, we'll ask the county in a second, what they have to say on it,
Yes, sir.
is y'all's view, this is basically maintenance repair and not new equipment.
And we're not questioning, we get it, right? We understand that that's the way it has to be. And that's with Mr. Harrell and, speaking with Mr. Harrell, with Mika,
Yeah,
and Mr. Crutchfield, it's like, no, this is how it's supposed to be reported, and this is how you're gonna do it from now on, and we've,
okay.
up till now, we agree with the audit. Do we like it? No, but do we agree with it? Yes. We're just asking, hey, is there a way to waive the late listing penalty on that discovery?
Okay. Anybody other questions?
Why did the people leave? Why was there a change in personnel?
Well, we had a change here, and they just, at their factory, they
And they
had
had a change.
a change of managers or whoever, correct?
So Mr. Berkman, who I believe Mr. Crutchfield had known, he retired.
Yeah,
And then I think the TMA auditor that had done it in 2017 through 2010 is still working for TMA. But he's in Tennessee. I think he does audits in Tennessee.
okay. Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay, let's hear from the county.
Good morning.
Morning.
Harrison, personal property supervisor. Everything that Mr. Foles said is true, to my knowledge. We do have Jim Crutchfield here from TMA, Tax Management Associates, who assist us with our audits. But the total discovery value was over 19,947,000 for one account, and the total for the other account was 20,617,000. Total amount in taxes due, 347,033. On both of the accounts, they've never had a late listing penalty waived before. They've never been late in their filing, so we don't have any concerns regarding waiving a late listing penalty of $105,501.91. Any questions for me?
So again, in my mind, it's a very significant amount of property value difference between,
Yes.
in this. And it all seems to have run through effectively what I call maintenance and repair, new pieces of equipment added, new motors or whatever they may be to an existing machinery. It's nothing to do with any new machinery.
I'll let Jim come up.
I just want to
since
make
he
sure I'm
actually-
100% clear.
That's fine, that's fine. I'm Jim Crutchfield, I work for Tax Management Associates. I was the one who did the audit from the beginning. When you have a piece of equipment and you have to do, it's not really maintenance, it's more like
Refurbishing.
the equipment. So you're replacing pretty much all the guts, the wiring, the motherboards, all the electronics inside the piece of equipment. Those are all getting replaced and refurbished. So you're adding new life to the equipment.
Yeah.
So when you're bringing new life to the equipment, you're bringing value to that equipment. And it has a longer life at that point. So we kind of start the depreciation over again after that is replaced. So it's like a brand new piece of equipment. Then I add a new equipment. He's like I said, adding a roof
Yeah.
to the new roof. And that's what wasn't being reported. And so the Department of Revenue says that we need to report that as part of the valuation process of that piece of equipment. And so that's what we included in the
Yeah,
audit.
that's what the state law says.
That's correct.
Yeah,
That's correct. Thanks.
thank you.
Any other questions?
And you all feel good about that?
Yes, we feel good about that. Mr. Foles has been very open and communicating with us. The audit, it took a few years for them to complete with site visits and whatnot. So yes, we're 100% okay with that.
Did a law change, or did it just simply an interpretation in 2017 that said, we think that we should do it this way, and in hindsight, we should have done it another way, is the result?
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't speak for the prior audit. I
Fair
wasn't
enough.
here during that
Got it.
time, and nor under that administration.
Got it.
Do you have an
I won't
answer to
speak-
that?
I won't speak to that audit.
Okay.
The 17 audit, I won't speak to that, but I think just in general concept, when it comes to an audit, there's a lot of negotiation. And sometimes people settle on things that they maybe shouldn't. And I think that's probably what happened in 17.
Thank you.
But we're clearing it up now.
Clearing it up now.
Yeah.
Crystal clear. Right, Mr. Fuller?
So everybody understands how it's
Yes.
being done going forward,
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
and we won't have this problem again.
I promise you, we will not have this problem again. I promise you, we will not have that. And I'm being serious.
Mr. Crutchfield, you got up twice. Did you want to add something to this
He answered
Christmas
it.
party?
Van answered it perfectly.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Can you tell my wife that?
Question on, so the combined discovery tax amount due we're being asked to waive is $347,000, is that correct?
You're asking me, you're being asked to waive the penalty, that's the tax amount.
That's the tax amount. Where is the penalty amount?
For account number 407622, LLP total is $55,383.28. And then on the account 2783804, total late list penalty is $50,118.63. Those two numbers combined.
Those two numbers, so
Yes.
it's $105,000.
105,501.91 cents.
Okay.
All right.
And let me ask you a question, so I got it straight. This was a discovery through an audit, and then the county agrees with the fact of no penalty or to waive it? Is that what I heard? I'm trying to figure out how this is going to
We are okay, it's ultimately the board's decision.
Of course.
They can't waive it, but they're
We
not
are
opposed to it.
okay with the waiver of the penalty because they've never had one, even though it's a significant penalty. And there was some confusion around the process and how things should be accounted for based on prior audits. In an effort to settle this at this point, they agreed to the audit findings, we agreed to not opposing a waiver of the penalty.
And all the taxes have been paid.
And going forward, it will be taken care of, and it
Yes.
won't be a problem, because, you know, when you fix something,
Until
you know, keeping it
he
running.
retires and I retire and the auditor
Well,
retires.
we don't know.
Hopefully,
Y'all
you're
probably
all
retired.
retired too then, right?
I got a couple more years. All right. And I think too, I mean, there's been equipment brought online with the company, new equipment
Yeah.
purchased and all that's been listed and taken care of.
This isn't like some cases we've seen when, gee, there's a whole bunch of new equipment over here and they never listed it,
Right.
which is a different ballgame.
I think the way to look at this situation, if it would help simplify it for the board, is if you're gonna fix something, you fix it.
Yeah.
If you're gonna overhaul it, you're gonna capitalize that from an income tax standpoint.
Yeah.
We have to, at that point, you have to count
Right.
on the property tax side.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is total refurbishment equipment, yeah.
Yeah.
I hadn't been in that particular factory, but I've been in a number of these things, and there's very sizable equipment, and it's, you don't just jerk something out and put something new in, you work on them. In my days gone by in the banking world, I visited a lot of big places,
Right.
and that's the way that is. Okay, well, somebody's gonna have to make a motion.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, you have another question?
No, I was gonna make a motion.
Okay, make a
I
motion.
was going to ask if, since this is the one and hearing two, into that same motion, or do we
I
have to
think
do
we have to
each
do it
one?
one at a
I would
time.
take separate motions.
Separate motion. I'll make a motion of concerning hearing, so we have to actually hear hearing two as well?
No, you.
Oh, okay. I make a motion that we, hearing one, that we waive the amount of $105,501.91,
The late listing penalty.
late listing penalty.
That's the combined amount.
Oh,
Proposed.
the 55,308, no, $50,118.63. That's hearing one.
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion?
No, sir.
Nope.
Hearing none, I call the question. All those in favor of waiving the penalty, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Hearing none, the penalty is waived. Now we can go on to hearing number two.
Mr. Chairman, hearing number two, I motion that we waive the late listing penalty of $55,383.28.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call the question. All those in favor of waiving the late listing penalty, say aye.
Yay.
Anybody opposed? Hearing none, we are approved to waive the late listing penalty. Is there anything further before us? Do you want to have a comment before I adjourn us?
Yeah, I believe this is our last meeting of the year.
Good.
I checked with Travis and some of the other folks to make sure there's nothing, so far there's nothing. We appreciate your service this year. Next year's gonna be a bit busier.
Yep. As the year goes on, I take it.
It'll be April, May, June, July.
Yeah.
It'll be a big hectic. But we're gonna have a longer informal this year, I think, than we've had before, so that would give us the opportunity to address some of those valuation appeals without the board having to be involved.
That's good.
At that point. We'll be convening the board toward the end of April, I believe, instead of the beginning.
Okay.
So we're still working on those dates. We'll let you know the Board of County Commissioners will take action in February to appoint a new chairman. And then at the first meeting, do the board's business here, we'll have an orientation. We may bring you in before for an orientation type session. It's going to give you an
Yes,
overview.
I would like that very much.
And so we'll go through that process. But you as a group will appoint a vice chair at the first meeting. So that'll be part of your board business, which you can make the first time. So other than that, we're good. Still working through it. We're getting the word out, making sure people know what's coming. We're not finished yet, so.
Yeah. The biggest thing I tell people, it's not the value, it's what your county or town does with their tax rate to go with it. It takes two parts of this to get to the dollar you have to pay for your property tax. So that's the most important thing, and be realistic about what your house is worth.
Yeah.
So that's it. With that,
Mr. Chairman?
make a motion to adjourn, somebody.
Someone can make the motion, but I just wanted to say before we dismiss and you hit that awesome gavel, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all.
Yep.
Here, here.
Here, here. Very good.
So move on that motion.
So moved.
Okay. We are adjourned.
Excellent.
Now I may slide over to town hall. They're having a meeting about that Deal Lake property right now.
The deal property. I think you should go. Give them
Maybe I won't get a
say
parking
no.
ticket today.
I hope
Maybe I
not
won't
either.
get a parking ticket today in that parking lot.
That's why I came so late.
Did you?